The State Route 71 Blackbird stands as one of the most iconic and extraordinary aircraft ever built, a creation that pushed the limits of speed, altitude, and technology. It was not just an airplane but a statement of what human ingenuity could achieve when ambition and necessity combined during the tense years of the Cold War. Designed and built by Lockheed's legendary Skunk Works division under the direction of Clarence Kelly Johnson, the State Route 71 was conceived to do something no other aircraft could do: to fly so high and so fast that it could outrun any missile or enemy aircraft. When it entered service with the United States Air Force in the mid-1960s, it represented the absolute cutting edge of aerospace technology, and decades later it still holds that reputation. The State Route 71 was designed as a long-range strategic reconnaissance aircraft. Its mission was to gather intelligence by photographing and monitoring areas deep inside hostile territory without ever needing to engage in combat. Rather than relying on stealth alone, the aircraft relied on its incredible speed and altitude to avoid interception. At cruising speeds above Mach 3 and altitudes reaching over 85,000 feet, no enemy could touch it. From that height, the pilots could see the curvature of the Earth, the thin blue line of the atmosphere, and the blackness of space above. Every mission flown in the Blackbird was an experience that bordered on the cosmic. The Blackbird's origins trace back to the earlier A-12 program, a secret CIA project also developed by Lockheed. The A-12 served as the technological foundation for what would become the State Route 71. Built almost entirely out of titanium, the aircraft was designed to withstand the enormous heat generated by air friction at Mach 3 speeds. At such speeds, the skin of the aircraft could reach temperatures exceeding 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Regular aluminum would have melted, so the engineers at Skunk Works had to create new manufacturing processes to work with titanium, which was difficult to obtain and even harder to machine. Ironically, much of the titanium came from the Soviet Union, the very adversary the aircraft was designed to spy on. The SR-71's engines were another marvel of design. The Pratt & Whitney J58 turbojet engines were capable of producing over 34,000 pounds of thrust each. They were hybrid engines that operated as turbojets at lower speeds and transitioned into a form of ramjet propulsion at higher speeds. At Mach 3, about 80% of the thrust came from the shock cones and the bypass airflow rather than the actual turbine. This made the Blackbird far more efficient at extreme speeds than any other jet engine of its era. The engines burned a unique fuel called JP7, specially formulated to resist evaporation and combustion under extreme heat. JP7 was so stable that it could be used to cool other systems in the aircraft before being fed into the engines for combustion. Pilots joked that you could extinguish a match in a bucket of JP7, yet when ignited properly, it delivered unmatched performance. Because of the heat expansion of the titanium skin, the State Route 71 had a peculiar quirk: it leaked fuel while on the ground. The panels were designed to fit tightly only when the aircraft was at high temperatures during flight, so on the runway, the seams between the panels would allow the JP7 fuel to drip out. Once airborne and heated to operational temperature, the aircraft structure would expand and seal itself. This strange characteristic became part of the Blackbird's legend, illustrating how every aspect of its design was optimized for extreme performance rather than convenience. Inside the cockpit, flying the State Route 71 was an experience unlike any other. The pilots and reconnaissance system officers wore pressurized flight suits similar to those worn by astronauts. They operated in an environment where the outside temperature and pressure were lethal without protection. The cockpit itself was filled with analog instruments and gauges, but every one of them was designed with precision to monitor the complex systems required to keep the aircraft stable at supersonic speeds. The Blackbird could not simply be flown like an ordinary jet. It required continuous coordination between the two-person crew, constant adjustments to maintain temperature balance, and meticulous fuel management. Missions flown by the State Route 71 were highly secretive and demanded absolute precision. The aircraft usually took off from secure bases such as Beale Air Force Base in California or Kadena Air Base in Okinawa. Before reaching its operational area, it would refuel in midair using specially modified KC-135Q tankers capable of carrying the unique JP7 fuel. Once fully fueled, the State Route 71 would accelerate to its cruising altitude and speed, becoming almost untouchable. Over hostile territory, it would capture high-resolution photographs and sensor data using advanced cameras and electronic systems. These systems could cover vast areas with incredible detail, providing intelligence that was invaluable during the Cold War. One of the most famous aspects of the SR-71's legacy is that it was never shot down. Enemy radar and missiles often detected it, and numerous attempts were made to intercept it, but none ever succeeded. The aircraft's defense was its speed. When a missile launch was detected, the crew's immediate response was to accelerate and climb, outrunning the threat. Soviet surface-to-air missiles, including the advanced SA-2 and SA-5, could reach high altitudes but not fast enough to catch the Blackbird. In one mission, the aircraft evaded more than a dozen missiles by simply flying faster. This ability to escape danger without combat turned the State Route 71 into a legend of survivability and efficiency. The Blackbird set numerous records that still stand. On July 28, 1976, it achieved a world record speed of 2,193 miles per hour and an altitude record of 85,068 feet. These records remain unbroken for a manned air-breathing jet aircraft. It could cross the continental United States in just over an hour. Even decades later, few aircraft could match its performance. Its design was so advanced that when viewed next to modern jets, it still appears futuristic, with its long, sleek fuselage, sharply pointed nose, and massive engine nacelles extending from the wings. Operating the State Route 71 was extraordinarily expensive and complex. Each mission required extensive planning, maintenance, and support. The aircraft's titanium structure demanded constant inspection, and its specialized systems required teams of technicians with unique training. The cost of fuel, maintenance, and logistics made every flight an expensive undertaking, but the intelligence gathered often justified the expense. During its operational years, the Blackbird provided critical information on Soviet military movements, missile installations, and global crises. It was a vital tool for maintaining balance and awareness during a time when both superpowers were constantly monitoring each other's actions. Despite its success, the Blackbird service eventually came to an end. By the late 1980s and 1990s, advances in satellite surveillance and unmanned aerial vehicles began to offer alternative ways to gather intelligence. Satellites could observe large areas continuously, and drones could operate for long durations without risking human life. As a result, the State Route 71 program was gradually phased out, and the aircraft was officially retired in 1998. Some aircraft were briefly brought back into service in the 1990s for NASA and Air Force missions, but eventually, they were permanently grounded. Even after its retirement, the State Route 71 continues to inspire engineers, pilots, and aviation enthusiasts. Its design philosophy, engineering principles, and innovations influenced future aircraft, including stealth technology used in the F-117 Nighthawk and B-2 Spirit bomber. The lessons learned from the Blackbird's high-speed aerodynamics and thermal management systems helped shape the development of modern hypersonic concepts. Lockheed Martin later announced plans for a possible successor, the SR-72, which is envisioned to reach speeds of Mach 6, twice as fast as the Blackbird. Though still in conceptual stages, the State Route 72 reflects the enduring influence of the SR-71's legacy on modern aerospace innovation. The story of the State Route 71 is not only about technology but also about the people who built and flew it. The pilots were among the best in the world, trained to operate in extreme conditions and make split-second decisions at speeds exceeding 3 times the speed of sound. Their missions were often classified, their accomplishments rarely acknowledged publicly during the aircraft's operational years. Many of them described the experience of flying the Blackbird as life-changing, a combination of awe, danger, and pride that few other experiences could match. The ground crews, engineers, and designers also played crucial roles, ensuring that the aircraft performed flawlessly under immense stress. The State Route 71 became a symbol of American technological superiority and determination. It was a tool of intelligence but also a work of art, with lines and proportions that embodied both function and beauty. Its nickname, Blackbird, came from its distinctive dark blue-black paint designed to dissipate heat and reduce radar signature. In sunlight, the aircraft glowed with a purplish tint, giving it an almost otherworldly appearance. When people saw it take off, the roar of its engines and the shimmering heat waves trailing behind left a lasting impression of power and elegance. To this day, aviation museums around the world proudly display the remaining SR-71s as reminders of what was once possible. Visitors stand beneath its massive wings, marveling at the engineering that allowed it to touch the edge of space and return safely. Each aircraft carries stories of missions that shaped the course of history, often carried out in silence and secrecy. The State Route 71 Blackbird represents more than an aircraft. It is a testament to the limits of human innovation, to the courage of those who flew it, and to the creative genius of the minds that built it. It was born from a period of intense global rivalry yet achieved something universally admired. Even in an age of satellites and digital surveillance, the Blackbird's accomplishments remain unmatched. It was a machine that defied physics, conquered the sky, and proved that speed and intelligence could coexist in perfect harmony. In the end, the SR-71's greatest legacy is its ability to inspire. It reminds us that boundaries exist only until someone dares to cross them. It showed the world that with vision, courage, and determination, the impossible can become real. The Blackbird may no longer fly, but its spirit soars forever in the history of flight, a dark and elegant shadow streaking through the sky faster than any other aircraft ever dared to go.